All right, we are beginning our holiday belly texture project. At the store counter, you're going to shop for the 3 different brush sizes for the 3 different colors of paint we're using. You're going to start with 2 vertical lines just as a sketching starting point going down the middle of your paper. And then towards the bottom, you're going to do 2 horizontal lines that are going to be the belt. So we are painting 1, 2, 3, 4 of those paper spots with that texture of velvet. So I'm using my flatter brush. I am going to take the tiniest dot of black. I'm going to scoop up red, and I am going to go right onto my paper with those 2 colors without mixing them except on my plate. So I am filling in this rectangle part, and I'm trying to make my paint smooth without gobs of paint left. I'm running out of paint. I need a little bit more. I'm gonna take a dab, scoop up some red, bringing it right to my paper to get that velvety texture color with just a little bit of black. This part is really important that you take your time and get those paints to spread so that they dry nicely. Everybody's velvety color is going to have a little bit different shade. Some are going to be darker, some are going to be lighter. Totally fine. Depends on the lighting, what that velvety color and texture is going to look like. You are painting the top tall rectangles with this velvety color. And then you also have to think about painting the bottom 2 corners as well. Sometimes kids forget about those parts. So again, I am really making sure that I am rubbing back and forth to get a nice smooth paint layer so that it dries nicely. Because this is a 1-day project, we want to make sure we don't have gobs because we got to get that white part on today. And you know what's going to happen if we put white and there's wet red. If you can do some imagining, imagine that I've painted these bottom corners as well. I am done with this brush. There should be enough black left on your plate with your smallest brush. You're going to use that black to paint the belt. So again, I am taking my time, making my lines nice and straight. I am rubbing this paint so there's not wet gobs. Back and forth, giving it a nice smooth look. This is going to be the texture of leather. So we want it to be nice and smooth. As you're working on the red and the black, it's going to start to dry. To give that even a little bit more drying time before I go in with white, I'm going to switch over to the gold belt buckle. So this gold belt buckle, we are going to fold in half. And I am going to cut from that fold line a square shape. Got a little bit of paint on there because I got paint on my hands. Square shape out of it. If I cut from that fold, I just cut the inside of the belt buckle. Now, you can definitely make this fancier, or you can just leave it. Fancier belt might have rounded corners. You could use your inside scraps to make the buckle part of the belt. So paint red, paint black, and then I would cut and glue this belt buckle on right away. Just a little bit of glue around those edges. This is just giving your paint a little extra drying time before you get to the white part. If you're noticing that your paint is still really wet when you're ready to do the white, I would make sure that you've spread this nice and thin. I'm rubbing my finger on here and it's pretty dry. If yours is not, I'd go back to this brush and just spread those pieces better. If that's not working, you can also bring it to the counter and we'll have the blow dryer out if you need to do a little blow drying. I'm using my biggest, fluffiest brush for the white at the end. So I am stamping up and down to get that fluffy texture. At this point, if you're noticing any pink, just stop and pause and make sure that you've done those steps to get it to dry. Sometimes kids at this point add a tiny little bit of black in to give it the look of soot, like it's gone through the chimney. This is doing awesome work. So I would continue that texture at the top And the bottom of my belly project, the last point is a choice. With this same white brush, if you want it to look like it is snowing, you could add some dots of snow. This gives it a nice controlled little look so it doesn't look like a blizzard all over your project. And with that white, to help the texture of the belt, you could give it a little line of shine. Some little dashes so it looks like it's glowing in the light. Your finished belly project is going in the drying rack. You'll need to clean up your table spot, returning your brushes to the different cups at the counter, throwing away your plate, and washing your spot.